Return of the Retro episode 20 on Tuesday, March 23rd. Ervik! We made it to 20 episodes. It's amazing.
And it only took 20 years.
Well, it took almost 2, to be completely fair. We're only 2 months out from our 2-year anniversary. But what are we talking about tonight?
Sonic and Knuckles?
Yes, let me crack mine. Ah, nice. That's better. Sonic and Knuckles, the classic Sega port of the potential add-on to Sonic 3.
Swear to God, I thought you said classic Sega porn, and I was very intrigued.
Yeah, I wouldn't be because it's Japanese, and Japanese porn is just odd.
Yeah, well, it would be Sonic having sex with Knuckles. It would be very weird.
How would an echidna pull that off with a hedgehog? The thoughts are dooming. Let's talk about who's sponsoring us tonight, and that's opnoobs.com! Amazing! The group that's picked us up to be part of their network. I don't know of any other podcasts they've picked up yet, so we're still the first and only.
Yeah, the best. That makes us the best!
It's true. We have the highest number of downloads.
Woohoo!
But they are looking for writers, streamers, and podcasters. So if you want to start a new show, head on over to opnoobs.com and sign up. It's right there on their front page. Ervik, what have you been playing?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Let's open the tab where I put all that down. I've been doing some Hearthstone. It's alright. It's free, and MTGO is not, which leads me to my second one, MTGO. That costs money, y'all, but I've been spending it, and my wife would get mad at me, so I started playing a little Hearthstone because it's free, but I still sneak some MTGO games in occasionally.
You're still hating on Hearthstone?
It's not very good. The meta game for it is basically all one-turn kills, and you can't interact on your opponent's turn, so you can see it coming 3 turns in advance, and there is dick all you can do about it. You're like, oh, he equipped a big-ass weapon. Oh, he played a big taunt creature, so I couldn't kill his shit. Oh, he now put another creature in play that's big as hell. Alright, I'm dead. Like, especially if they're doing like a warrior charge build or something where the enemies can attack the same turn you play them. So they'll spend a turn, wipe out everything you've got on the board. You go to play. If you don't play a creature with taunt that turn, they just literally wait till a turn where you can't play a creature with taunt and then play enough shit to kill you in a turn. And that's just not fun, I guess. Like, it's ugh. Bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hold on one second. Dog's an asshole. Anyway, so yeah, Hearthstone, what a fucking pain in the ass that game is. Right now, I saw a tweet come across a few hours ago. There's someone playing a turn that's literally going to take 40 hours to complete their turn. They're on like hour 10.
How is
and
that?
They're streaming it live. I don't have a clue. They're streaming it live. There was a tweet about it. If you'd like, I can post the link.
Well, there is a glitch right now where you can basically glitch the game out so turns never end. So you can wait somebody out until they quit so you get a win, which is also very shitty.
That is really shitty.
Well, that's enough about that shitstorm of a game. MTGO is where it's at, y'all. Dying Light, I played all the way through in co-op with a buddy of mine named Ari, and that game's not terrible. It's essentially a first-person version. It's by the same studio, so it makes sense. This is a first-person version of Dead Island, basically, with like parkour. Mm-hmm. So if you were playing, if you remember Mirror's Edge, if you were to play that with zombies, it was basically what you got going on here. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I played Far Cry 4 start to finish since the last time we talked, and that was a lot of fun. I did not co-op any of that game, but the game itself, it was fun. You know, it's like Grand Theft Rhino.
I've never played that series at all.
Grand Theft Elephant, maybe more. You can ride elephants. It's pretty sweet. And Lords of the Fallen released their first DLC, which I downloaded and played all of 10 minutes of, but it's been so long since I played, I need to like go remember how to play, because the DLC is quite hard. So I'll probably just start a new character and get on it. But that's I think that's about it. I'm picking up Bloodborne tomorrow, but you know, I'll have a review next time. Stay tuned.
I've heard good and bad things about that.
It's by From Software who does Dark Souls, so I'll try anything they do.
Yeah, I've heard it's like Dark Souls 5 or something like that, or 4 or whatever.
It's weird. Yeah, they've definitely iterated. They've taken out shields in this iteration, and it's a little more like, very little more like a so Devil May Cry kind of thing. Like, it's a little more stylish, but it's still very hard apparently.
All right.
So I'm willing to give it a shot. From has earned my respect and my dollars.
For me, I finally got the XCOM DLC, Enemy Within, and started playing that, and everything was going good until the RNG kicked my ass.
Save a lot.
There's nothing like not killing one guy by 1 hit point, then having him kill your best guy. That guy turns into a zombie. He kills 3 more of your guys, and you're wiped in 3 turns, and all because you missed by 1 hit point. Just 1. Fucking bullshit. Oh, and everyone, after the first kill, goes, oh, help me, run away. Either they come out of hiding, or they hunker down while the enemy's right on top of them, or some other bullshit.
Yes.
So I'm still trying to free or bomb the ship where the guys are coming out of the sharks and the whale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mission. Fuck that mission.
Shit's pretty tight, yeah.
Someone on Twitter, Rainy, R-A-N-N-I, made me realize there's a lot of Animal Crossing New Leaf that I had yet to experience. Like 80% of the game yet to experience. So I got back into that last few weeks, and I've been playing that again.
You mean there's a whole bunch more bug collecting and diddling animals for fucking bells or whatever you collect in that stupid-ass game?
I actually really enjoy it. I like the fishing a lot.
You're a
There's nothing like pulling up a whale shark. I know.
You animal diddler.
I've bought and sold my first, or bought and donated my first 2 paintings, which I didn't know you could do. Apparently there's fake paintings and real paintings, so you gotta look up on the internet which one's the real one each week and make sure you get that one. Speaking of which, I hope today wasn't painting day because I didn't log in today. It changes every week.
God damn it. I don't even know who you are anymore. Oh my god. You want me to give you my wife's DS friend code? She'll New Leaf with you, or Horizons, or whatever the fucking
absolutely I do.
Ugh.
Because I haven't collected all the fruit yet. I need more trees.
You got plenty of fruit, buddy.
I bought a new 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS, the better 3D and the thumbstick. Well, thumb nub, but it works really well. And with it, I got Super Smash 3DS, and that game is awesome. The new Smash Brothers is just fucking fun. Really, really fun.
It's exactly like the last 2, right? But like with 1 or 2 more characters.
I like it a lot more than Brawl. I had Brawl. I never really got into it. I never played any of the other ones.
There's only, 3? Brawl, Melee,
4.
and...
The original Melee, Brawl, and now there's 2 out, but they're basically the same game for the Wii and 3DS.
And you have to get both for something. If you crossplay or some nonsense, you get a special character or something.
I think that's how you get Mewtwo, but I'm not sure.
Makes sense.
But I think I've unlocked all the characters because I haven't had one pop up to challenge me in a while. But Mr. Game & Watch is cool as shit. His whole level is like playing on an LCD screen. They put Robbie the Robot in there from the original Nintendo. And the best part of all, Duck Hunt Dog is in there.
I read that he was. You're not excited about Wii Fitness Trainer?
Yeah, no. She can eat my balls.
God, I'm surprised that to get Mewtwo, they weren't like, buy a super golden statue. Only 1 made. Like every other fucking amiibo. We made 100 of them. Please fight over them.
If Sheik is hard to find, it's all over my town. So if someone needs one, send me a letter, and I'll get you Sheik.
No, it's not Sheik. It's the ones that are hard to find are like stupid ones from Fire Emblem, like Mario.
Yeah, it's all the Fire Emblem ones that are
or Shulk. Because they were all fucking exclusive. Like GameStop was the only place to get Shulk. My nephew had to have Shulk, and I was like, that 6-year-old bitch has never played Fire Emblem? And then his mom was like, first of all, he ain't a bitch. And I was like, hey, kind of a bitch. And then, second of all, apparently he's in Smash Brothers, I guess, in this iteration. Yep. So he's like, he plays Smash Brothers. I'm like, that game's... Well, that's fair. That game for babies. He a baby. It's cool.
I disagree that it's for babies. There's a lot of...
no, people can get very, very good at it. That game is not for me.
I'm really good with Pac-Man. He's my go-to guy. And I've leveled all 3 of my amiibo up to level 50. My Donkey Kong, my Samus, and my Link.
Yeah, you can't even do anything with them. You set them on there and like, oh, they can go play other people while you're jacking in the other room. What the hell is that?
I play against them.
I want to, like, do something with it, man. I don't want it to, like, learn my play style. I don't want to be my shadow driver from Forza. I don't need that shit. I want it to look
asshole,
cool.
Look at the figurines behind you, asshole.
Yeah, they don't do shit. They sit there and look fucking pretty. I'm
right,
excited
and
on my Wii U.
My amiibo does one more thing than they don't. They get to play in Smash Brothers.
But when you're not on.
No, you can play against them.
Yeah, no, don't you like train them? Like, isn't that?
Yeah, but I put them all on my 3DS, and then they go into the same fight, and I just fight against them. And they
also, hold on, I gotta figure out which way this camera's pointing. This way? No.
That's the purple curtain.
This way, yeah. The blue things, those are all Star Trek ships from the Star Trek collection. I gotta put those somewhere. They're like, it's gonna be a thing.
I don't even know you anymore.
Also, this, as you can tell from the paint scheme, is the Ninja Turtle room. This is my Donatello room. It has these sweet green walls. What you can't see is the wall behind the monitor, like where I'm pointing at you, like this, is the same color as that curtain. It's an accent wall. It's all fancy. This is the Donatello room. It's pretty goddamn sweet. Now
you just need to put up a nice painting from Donatello.
I have one somewhere that's not hung up yet. I don't know where it is. I'm looking around, but there's shit everywhere. Our house is still a goddamn mess.
So I've also been playing Hex Cells. Are you familiar with Hex Cells?
I am not. Well, I mean, I know what hexadecimal is, and I know what spreadsheet cells are. Is it like that?
No, it's like a 6-sided Minesweeper.
Weird.
It's fucking awesome. It's a really great puzzle game. There's 3 of them available on Steam, but if you're going to buy one, get Hex Cells Infinite. It teaches you the same stuff in the other 2, and then it has a random puzzle maker in it that the other 2 don't have. But I lose myself in the game for hours at a time just turning boxes either blue or black from orange. And if you have an Android phone, get 6 Cells. It's on the Google Play Market, and it's basically the same thing. It's a cool game. I've beaten the first 2, and I'm working my way through the last one. I have about 7, 8 more pre-made levels.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then there's Monster Hunter 4, which is taking up my time since I bought that last week. Last week? Yeah. So, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, I won a euchre tournament at my in-laws. I got $55 for beating everyone's ass. There were 24 people there. I was the best. That's right.
At
the
a grandpa
best.
game. Telling you what a euchre tournament is like saying, I want a backgammon tournament. I'm like, did you play it at the park with your granddad?
Fuck you, Dick.
Oh,
but I won money, and that's what matters.
What's funny is I don't even know what the fuck euchre is, aside from there are cards involved.
It's kind of like spades, but with trump changing and only 24 card deck.
That seems needlessly complicated.
It's actually a lot less complicated than spades because you can keep track of what other people are playing.
You can do that in spades, man.
Yeah, but you gotta keep track of 13 cards out of each person's hand as opposed to 5.
Right? I'm real good at spades, y'all. Maybe I'd be good at euchre. I'll have to try it sometime.
So I went out, and I just on a whim, I went to my favorite retro store to see if they had a used copy of Monster Hunter 4, and they did, which was awesome because it's not available anywhere else in my town. I went to 4 other places on Thursday. I bought it on Tuesday. I went on Thursday with my professor, who is also my internship boss and becoming my friend. Um, we went to 4 different video game stores in town, and no one had Monster Hunter 4. So apparently I bought the only copy available, which is awesome. And I basically, the kid who turned it in spent 40 hours on it and was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I left his save on there and started my own character. And I've got probably about 10 in already.
Yeah, people have a threshold. You get to a certain number of hours, and you either learn that you hate Monster Hunter or you fucking love Monster Hunter. I've never met someone who was like, Monster Hunter, I played it once, it was okay. Everyone I know either put like 40 hours in and went, this game sucks, or put 1,100 hours in and is still addicted to it like crack cocaine. I fell into the first
you
camp.
Could say,
it was not for me, but all of my friends fucking love Monster Hunter.
you could say I was in that middle ground after 3 Ultimate, but that's because I had no one to play with on the Wii U. So I'm hoping to find some people shortly with the 3DS version. Anyway, so this afternoon I was playing some Shovel Knight. I am now up to the final 2 stages, so I should beat that this week. And if you don't own Shovel Knight yet, do you?
I do, I think. I just haven't played it. I'm pretty sure I own it. Hold on, I can check Steam. I have this knowledge.
It's right here in front of me at this same computer. It's amazing.
Library, games. Let's see. Space Hulk, Stanley Parable, Star Wars.
It'd be above Space Hulk. It's SH.
You're SH. Shadowrun, no, I don't own Shovel Knight, it turns out.
You need to get that in the next Steam sale. If you like old Nintendo platformers, like Mega Man. Yeah, like Mega Man and DuckTales. It's fucking amazing.
Woo!
Also, Walking Dead Season 2. I think I'm 2 episodes in, maybe 3. I'm really missing some of the characters from Season 1.
I own Season 2, but I was waiting for it to all have been released. Which
it is all released.
Okay, then I'm ready. That I do own. I just wasn't sure.
It's been all released for about a year.
Well, I've been busy.
Now, if you had Game of Thrones, I would tell you, yeah, that one's not released yet.
I'm gonna wait on that one. I've played a few of the Telltale games. I played the Back to the Future. I started the Back to the Future when I got to number 2 and quit. I played the Sam and Max one. I played like the first 3 and I didn't love it. Walking Dead's the one that really resonated with me, so I wasn't willing to give Game of Thrones the buy until I'd read some reviews, and I have not looked into it yet.
I know Peter Dinklage is acting for it, so that already is a plus.
I do love the imp.
You do love some Peter in your Dinklage.
Peter's already a dick joke, man. You went too far.
Alright, so what have you been doing in real life?
Nothing. Working a billion hours and doing some, good old home repair. Of course, as soon as you buy a house, everything starts falling apart. So, like, my garage door I had to fix. I had to replace a bunch of light bulbs. So I put in LED light bulbs. Something I never thought I'd be fucking excited about. Like, what a boring-ass thing to say. But they are, like, a third or a fourth of the wattage. It saves so much power, it's ridiculous. I'm like a madman!
You're fucking sad, dude.
Yeah, I know.
The best part of my day was putting in LED light bulbs. Now my power bill won't be so much.
This room, I put special lights in this room. These are daylight bulbs. They are bright as shit. I don't know if it transfers over Skype, or Twitch, but it's bright as hell in here. They're the same like color or a different color temperature, but the same brightness. So it's technically the same brightness, but they're the color temp of daylight, so it's like whiter light instead of like a soft orangish light. And it's supposed to be good for productivity since this is my home office on top of my gaming station. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's very bright.
Yeah, it is. I can tell it's very bright because you can't see hardly anything that's on your top shelf except your portal bookends.
It's washed out. Yeah, it's very bright, but it does seem to help with the productivity. So,
speaking of brightness, we started. Well, let's change it. I and my parents and my wife's parents started painting the house on Sunday. and the walls went from, basic plaster dullness to, here's this bright white base coat you're putting on. Everything's brighter. Hooray! And I notice I left my wife out of that. She's on a business trip, and I'm surprising her with having some rooms painted for her. This is all in enough.
And so she comes home and is like, I hate everything you did. These colors are all wrong.
Oh, no, I made sure everything that she wanted is what got done. She just is not involved in the work. I know better than that.
My wife picked out the lovely Donatello room, by the way. So
it's because your wife's cool. Although, we do have a green wall and purple floor room I call the Joker room upstairs.
This one, the green isn't right for Joker. This is a very Ninja Turtle green.
No, this is mine is a, like key lime pie green upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know if it translates with the really bright light in here, but this is almost like a pea soup.
Okay, we're just straight gay now. You know that, right?
We're just old, man. We're old. Talking about our painted houses and our wives. Let's move on to games.
Well, I got a little bit more. Yeah,
all right.
I got to play soccer a couple weeks ago for the first time during spring break. That was awesome. First time since I tore my ACL back in April. And amazingly, my knee didn't hurt. Everything else did because, I hadn't used anything. But the knee that got surgically repaired, that was fine.
Yeah, when you got robot parts, of course they work better than your people parts.
They aren't robot parts. They are cadaver parts. So I'm part zombie.
Did you get the pig or the actual people?
Actual human.
Oh, when they did mine, it was a pig. I have pig knees. Well, a pig.
You have pygmies? Little people walking around?
Yeah. That would be sweet.
So because of that, I want to get back into sports again, and I picked up Couch to 5K, the app for my phone, and I'm 2 workouts in now.
Hey, I'm doing that too. Fat
Are you
Brothers.
really?
What's up? Yeah. I'm only 1 in. I started yesterday. Weird.
I started on Saturday, and we didn't even talk about this. This is fucked up.
That's pretty great.
We didn't even talk about our guitars. We have basically the same exact guitar, same color finish. We're fucked up people.
Wine red, to be precise.
Yes. Anyway, let's get into the news.
Which some might not be very new anymore. I think we put this together like a week ago. I mean, there's new stuff too.
Yeah, it's, what can you say? It's the news. We don't have a Kickstarter feature this week because DJ Pimp Daddy didn't throw any in that he wanted us to talk about, like last time. But we do have a game that kind of relates to our topic. We have a canceled Sonic game that's being brought back to life after 18 years. This article is on Kotaku. We'll have a link to it in the show notes, of course. And it's Sonic Extreme, which should have been Sonic's 3D debut. And it was going to be available on the Saturn.
That sounds like the most 90s title of any video game ever. Sonic Extreme!
And it's not EXTREME, it's X, capital X dash Treem.
Yeah, no, it looks like someone in 1992 with a slap bracelet on was like, I have the perfect title.
I have a slap bracelet koozie. It's got 2 of them in it, and it slaps around a can. It's awesome.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Right? It's the coolest thing on the planet, dude. Just deal with it.
It does sound kind of awesome.
So it's being ported to PC, and it looks okay. I mean, it looks dated, but it's a new Sonic game that at least was made back in the days when they made good Sonic games. Unlike today with Sonic Boom. How long did it take them to come out with Sonic Boom? The most obvious Sonic name ever.
Well, they had to save it for last, or something.
Oh, fuck. That game crashed and burned so bad.
Much like the Sonic Boom. When Sonic was popular?
Yes.
Get it? I'm hilarious.
Oh, go to the next story, please. Get us out of this hellhole.
So Kotaku also posted a list of studios that Electronic Arts has bought and then shut down. And this list will have some of your favorites of all time on there, including Maxis, makers of SimCity, Mythic, the guys behind Dark Age of Camelot. Bullfrog Studios that made Dungeon Keeper, if you remember Dungeon Keeper back in
That
the
was
day.
a game I always wanted as a kid, never
Um,
got around to getting.
Origin, which they've renamed to their game distribution platform. Origin was the original publisher of Ultima and Wing Commander. Westwood Studios, which did Command and Conquer, and a lesser-known Magic game that I used to love. It was pretty great. It was kind of in the vein of King's Quest. Um, DreamWorks Interactive, who made the Medal of Honor games, they shut that down 2 years ago. Phenomic, who made Battleforge and Spellforce, both good games. Black Box Games, makers of the original Need for Speed and Skate. Pandemic, who made The Saboteur, if you'll remember, came out in like 2009. It was a big hyped Xbox 360 game that did not do super great. Playfish, who made the Sims social game, which is still, I believe, running without the original developers. And New FX, the makers of NBA Street. All of those studios, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 studios bought between 2004 and today. Aside from Maxis, they bought them way back in 97. Have all been shut down between 2007 and 2015. They've closed 7 studios, which
Pandemic
is
is
obscene.
Pandemic is the worst offense because they bought them in 2008 and killed them in 2009.
Yeah, that is brutal as hell. Well, I mean, the NBA Street guys was 2004 to 2007, so not much longer. Like, yeah, rude, very rude. So EA is the murderer of studios.
Westwood actually made my favorite Monopoly game of all time. They had an online Monopoly game. I actually played with people in Australia when I was in high school, if you'll believe that.
I actually remember you talking about this years ago, before you got into the Detroit Motor City.
Yeah, it was Motor City Online, damn it.
Oh, that's right. It was MCO. I remember now.
Oh, that was my first MMO. How awesome was that? No one else. I don't think there's anyone else in the world's first MMO.
I don't know if anyone else calls it an MMO. Take us into the next one. What do we got?
So, Lifehacker has an article on how you can make an old Game Gear into a multi-system retro gaming console. And it looks really good. I mean, they kept the same case and everything. They obviously, they did what everyone does nowadays. They threw in a Raspberry Pi. But, I mean, it's got a whole bunch. It looks, just by the picture, you can tell it has a Macintosh emulator, an IBM compatible emulator, Genesis. I'm sure there's a Game Gear emulator in there, because why wouldn't you? But basically anything that uses a D-pad and 2 buttons, you could probably get away with 3 with that start button. And you can play it on your Game Gear with its nice, bright color TV.
Yeah, it had a decent screen, but I think they replaced the screen on this one too. But
Yeah, I do too, based on the picture.
I had a Game Gear, and that bastard took 6 AA batteries and chewed through them. Like that was like an hour of gameplay. It was like 6 fresh AA's. My mom started hiding the damn thing so I couldn't play it because it cost her an arm and a leg to keep running.
So you were lucky you had a Game Gear. I didn't have a portable system until the Game Boy Color. But one of my first games was Link's Awakening, which was my first introduction to Zelda games, and that was awesome. Anyway, what's our next story?
Yeah, some over at Retro Collect, some intrepid homebrew guys have designed a port of Mega Man 2. My brain's not working. I'm staring literally at the article and I can't come up with it. They made an endless mode. They've called it Rockman 2 Endless, and if you don't know, Rockman is Mega Man's Japanese name. It's inspired by some of the newer games, Mega Man 9 and 10, for example, and essentially throws unlimited screens at you to see how you do. Seems kind of interesting. I'd be willing to give this a go.
That has to be one of the most frustrating Mega Man modes of all time. I mean, just playing Mega Man 2 is frustrating as hell.
Yeah, Mega Man 2 is no joke. This is a patch, for the record, to the original Rockman 2 ROM, so you'll need the Rockman 2 ROM, the Japanese version, not the American, because that's the file that they've patched. So remember, you have to own the original physical copy
That's
before
right.
you can download the ROM.
We don't want to get in trouble here.
Trademark. You must own, quote unquote, the physical copy. That's how copyright laws work. Don't come crying to me.
Yep, we're not at fault if you get caught downloading illegal ROMs and playing them on all sorts of systems like your hacked Game Gear that you're carrying around.
Right? Right?
Anyway, let's talk about a learning computer. So Google's...
Terminator.
Yeah, exactly. Google's DeepMind AI, which actually was invented by a game programmer. His name is Demis Hassabis. I'm probably saying that horrible. Demishassabis, who was a co-designer and programmer on Theme Park with Peter Molyneux, created the DeepMind AI. He's now gotten it so smart that it can play Atari 2600 games at human levels. As in, it's smart enough to learn to pop the ball up behind a broken brick to gain a ton of extra points in Breakout. I'm afraid for my future.
Yeah, apparently James Cameron got this wrong, and the Skynet goes online a few years later than we originally planned.
Yeah,
Because
life is going to suck probably about 15 years from now.
when the deep mind becomes the hive mind.
You know, it starts driving your cars into ditches because all your cars will be self-driven, and it'll take all over those. Cell phones will just blow up their batteries to put giant holes in your legs. It's going to be a fucking terrible future for us. Anyway, you want to talk about this other one I found?
Yeah, again over at Retro Collect, there's some software. It's an emulation front end called New Retro Arcade that seeks to combine your ROMs into a virtual arcade room, which is pretty neat.
Did you get a chance to look at the video? I know I popped it on you pretty late.
I watched a hair of it, but not enough of it to really get in there. I know that they're emulating on a pretty beefy machine, so I don't know how this is going to run on lower-end machines. Their machine that they're showing this video on, they're getting 1080p, 60 frames per second, but they've got an i7 4770K.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is, you know, overclocked to all shit, and they're running a GTX 780 Ti. So...
Yeah, that is beefy as fuck.
I don't. Your mileage may vary. That might just be overkill. But that is what they are running this bad boy on.
But it's really fucking cool. It sets up a whole arcade room for you to walk around virtually, and there's like Game Boys sitting down on tables and stuff that you can pick up and scroll through the ROMs on, and you know play it right there. They have darts set up in there, so you can just throw darts in the actual room. You can walk up to arcade machines, you know, for each of the games you got. Which with my collection, which behind me has about 7,000 arcade games, the room would be fucking huge. I'm not gonna ever do that with that machine. But if you got like a collection of like 20 arcade games you love, this is a great way to go.
Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. Again, the problem I have with this is the same problem I have with like Minority Report technology, where they're like touching shit to like expanding with their fingers. Is that, yes, this is all cool, but, like, movement, even virtual movement, is inefficient. That's the reason keyboards are king, macros, kind of stuff. Like, you're never, mark my words, you will never be interacting with a computer with, like, throwing your hands to minimize and maximize windows, or scrolling with your hand. That shit is inefficient. That's why they invented the mouse scroll wheel. You don't even gotta blink. It looks cool on TV. And this would be neat, again, for like 20 arcade games. When you got 7,000, it would take you 20 minutes to walk half the length of your room.
Yeah.
Just holding the up arrow. Like it's neat, but I don't know how applicable it is to everyday use.
That's why I like this one back here. It runs hyperspin, and I can, type a letter on my keyboard and go right to those particular ones. And I have a favorites list that I can get to that's, 50 games long that I can scroll through much faster. Anyway, speaking of arcade games, if you've ever played TXK, which is on the Vita, you probably noticed that it looks an awful lot like Tempest. And there's a good reason for that. The guy who made Tempest 2000 made TXK. The problem is it looks so much like Tempest that Atari has now attacked them and is claiming a copyright violation based on the '94 Atari Jaguar Atari Jaguar title, Tempest 2000. And they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna have to pull it from the Vita online market, but Jeff Minter is now being forced into not making any of the ports he was planning. And based on the screenshot that's on the article on RetroCollect, yeah, it's Tempest, and he absolutely has.
I mean, prettier.
It's prettier. Like, we added a whole bunch of new computer parts. It's gonna look pretty. So let's go ahead and make another Tempest, and let's not call it Tempest. Let's call it TXK. It is so much like Tempest that I can't believe it took this long for Atari to go after him.
No one plays the PS Vita, including their legal department.
There's that. I mean, this game's been out, I think, 3 or 4 years now. But we are now no longer going to see it on the PC, the PS4, the Oculus Rift, the Gear VR, Android, all because Atari, the same company that brought you the Atari 2600 and basically invented home video games on a large scale, which basically is no longer made by people who make games. The whole company is just a fucking right to have the name Atari anymore. It's nothing but a patent troll anymore. It's fucking sad. Anyway, if you want to go to RetroCollect, you'll see it up there. You can read the article. There's also a link to Jeff Minter's statement about it and the Atari legal letter outlining the copyright infringement. But all you really got to do, I mean, just look at the picture. You can be like, yep, that's fucking Tempest. And, dumbass, you can't do that. I mean, he even kept the same fucking spaceship at the top. How hard would it have been to make a different fucking spaceship?
He's just reusing code, baby.
Not that the guy's a great legendary programmer, but he should have known this was going to happen. Anyway, I think that's about all we got for news, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, now we can talk about Sonic Cross Knuckles. I mean, Sonic and Knuckles.
I'm going to pretend I heard what you said between Sonic and Knuckles, but you cut out on me, so we're just going to move along.
That's fine.
Sonic and Knuckles was developed by the Sonic team. Amazing how that works. The Sonic team made a Sonic game. It's amazing. And it was published by Sega, as you would guess, since that was their mascot. Directed by Hirokazu Yasuhara, and originally released in North America on October 18th, 1994. I didn't write down any reception about this game.
It was probably received real well, I'm going to guess. People like things.
People do like things. What's the story like?
Yeah, so after the events of Sonic's 1 and 2, and presumably 3, this game was originally made to ship with 3. 3 and Knuckles were supposed to be one game. They got close to execution, couldn't pull it off, so then they released the second cart with the Knuckles content, which would plug into Sonic 1, 2, or 3 and create different games. In 1 and 2, it just adds in Knuckles. In 3, it actually changes a few things. And the version I played this time was on the Steam, and it's the Sonic 3 and Knuckles version, which has the changes. It's not just the adding in Knuckles to Sonic 3. So the game is actually a little different. I don't know which way you played it, but so the story on mine. Oh, go ahead. How'd you play it?
Oh, I have an original cartridge version, and then just for the sake of save states, I played it on my MAME cabinet behind me. But I played the original version on that, not the updated Steam one. So
in the plugged-in version, I believe you could play Knuckles from the start. In the Sonic 3, in the combined version, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the story is actually played out as it was meant to be in the original. You actually play the first half-ish as Sonic, and the last half as Knuckles. There's actually a fight in the middle with Sonic and Knuckles. So the story is, Knuckles, the echidna, totally different from a hedgehog. Same abilities, aside from climbing shit. So really just a better version of a hedgehog. he thinks you're the bad guy because you've been running around stealing Chaos Emeralds, or he thinks you're stealing them. So he thinks you're a bad guy, so he acts like a total royal douche towards you. You guys fight, and then he steals all your Chaos Emeralds and runs off like a little bitch. Real sweet guy. So both of you, eventually you come to an understanding, as hedgehogs and echidna are wont to do.
Yeah.
And you, the two of you try and stop Dr. Robot Egghead Nick from bringing back the Death Egg, which is scarier than it sounds. It's like this big robot egg thing that hatches a robot monster. I don't know why it needs to be in a robot egg. I'm not really.
Easier transport.
I don't know if it needed its robot incubation period. I don't know. But that's so essentially you guys are collecting Chaos Emeralds, which aren't really that chaotic. They just make you run faster or something. It was never very clear.
You become Super Saiyan Sonic.
Yeah. In the RPG version of Sonic for the DS, they actually all had like different uses, like the Infinity Gauntlet gems. They all seem to do pretty much the same thing in Sonic 3. So you just run around trying to collect these emeralds, and if you get them all before you beat the boss, you get a special ending, and that's kind of where you're at. You want to stop him from... And his, of course, Dr. Robotnik's ultimate evil plan is to turn innocent creatures into robot innocent creatures. I'm not... he like puts birds in robot bird suits, and I don't get the point. Like, if the bird is in the robot suit, couldn't you just put like a little tiny chip on the bird to make it behave the way you wanted it, and not, or just build an entire robot bird? It seems very convoluted to need to put live animals in your robots. It just does not make sense.
Oh, it's the first step to the Matrix. We need exosuits, and then we'll figure out how to harvest from each of the exosuits.
So birds are actually batteries for bird-shaped robots.
Right.
Excellent. Which, that, for the record, that leads to one of the most gruesome levels, the air level in Sonic 2, where there's a bunch of planes you jump between them.
Oh, that one. Fuck that level.
Yeah, that level's bad, hard. But if you watch when you're playing, you bounce on the robots and stuff to move along, and they turn back into critters, and then plummet from the sky to their death.
Yes, they do.
You jump like a robot squirrel, and it just falls out of the sky, and presumably explodes on impact. So Sonic is actually a mass murderer. So maybe Knuckles is right. Maybe Sonic is kind of a douche.
I loved your Dr. Robot Egghead Nick. Because he will always be Robotnik to me.
Dr. Teddy Roosevelt.
He's just... Why did they change his name? Especially if they came out with Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very confusing, because the first time I heard it pronounced as Dr. Egghead was in the second Sonic cartoon. If you know, there's like 4 of them at this point.
Yeah.
But they called him Dr. Egghead, and I was like, no.
I think the original's now on Netflix if you want to watch that.
Oh, Jesus, probably not.
I watched the theme from it and was like, yeah, I do kind of remember this. And then after the theme was over, I was like, okay, I've seen enough. Goodbye.
I will probably never do that, because the last time I watched something from my childhood, I watched the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I specifically watched the Friday editions. They on Netflix, I don't know if it's still there, but they collected all of the Zelda's cartoons that ran on Friday. Friday was special. They ran Zelda cartoons instead of Mario cartoons. And they are the worst, most god-awful thing ever made. Link has a catchphrase. It is, "Excuse me, princess?" Because Zelda's a bitch the whole time. And every time Link does anything, she's kind of mean to him. And like a frat boy at a frat party, he yells, "Excuse me, princess," in the douchiest possible way. It is the worst cartoon ever made.
I didn't realize they had them collected. I'm going to try to find
so
that.
Bad. Yeah, watch a few of them if you must. It's... God. So what's the gameplay like in Sonic? Back on track. Segways.
No, we're not getting back on track yet. What was the name of the guy who played Mario on that show? He was Captain Lou Albano.
It was Captain Lou Albano, yeah.
He was also in an episode of Hey Dude.
He was probably in a bunch of stuff.
Anyway, now we'll get back to gameplay. If you play as Sonic, it's like every other Sonic game. It has good flow. It has loops and stuff. It has little carts you can trip on that immediately take you up to full speed and send you places. There's some good platforming in it. It is quite fast. It's a lot faster than a Mario game plays, which was the whole reason you played Sonic. Was like, oh, it's so much faster than Mario, and it still looks as good. Particularly with this game, I'd never played 3, so I don't know if maybe 3 had this. But in 2, when you finished the level, you had to wait, and that would, flash to a black screen, then flash up a splash of the next level you're going to, and then you could finally start. In this one, it does all that loading while you're going through the, points collection of the end of the level, and the game flows much better because of it. You don't have all that loading time in between.
Yeah, that's very true. It also, I don't know if you noticed, but like the first zone is basically just a redub of the original first zone, and for that matter, the second game, Green Hill Zone. So it's the same music.
Yeah, they just call it Mushroom Hill Zone.
Yeah, same thing, same music.
There's some new abilities in the game that are based on power-ups. If you get the Lightning Shield, you now attract coins, and I think it lets you double jump. The regular shield lets you press an A while jumping to attack, which was a new thing they added in general, was a shield attack while you're jumping. If you're playing as Knuckles, you get a completely new set of skills. You have the ability to fly through the air like Rocky the Flying Squirrel, and that's also an attack if you run into to something just right. It'll work and hurt him. And
Which notably, I'm not sure echidnas are sugar gliders. Pretty sure they're different animals.
I'm pretty sure echidnas don't really get off the ground. But, Knuckles does. He also has the ability to climb walls that we discussed, which really slows down the pace of the game.
Yeah, like a lot.
So it starts to feel like it's two completely separate games. You feel like, we talked about Ristar, and you can see that there's a lot of those elements in Knuckles. As far as the speed of the game.
And he's named Knuckles, by the way, because of his bitchin' brass knuckles with spikes, which is what lets him climb walls. He punches them into walls and climbs. That's not a built-in feature of the Echidna. He found those somewhere and was like, yeah, I'm gonna use these.
I'm gonna be a badass because I have brass knuckles with spikes.
This is like halfway to Shadow the Hedgehog with a gun. We're like, well, we're gonna do brass knuckles first, and then when that's not cool enough or extreme enough, we're gonna bring in a black hedgehog with a gun.
Well, if you're gonna bring in one with a gun, it's got to be black because we're racist here at Sonic Team. The player character moves through 8 levels, each divided into 2 acts. This is quoting directly out of the wiki, by the way, Wikipedia entry. The first act of each level is punctuated by a mini boss fight with one of Dr. Robotnik's robots. The first one, by the way, you fight a guy who's literally just chopping a tree and making the pieces land on you. Yeah, all you got to do is get on top of him, and you can bounce on him without problem. Then the second boss is you running through. It's kind of like the part in Castle Crashers where you're being chased through the logging area with something behind you. Only this time it's in front of you. It's Dr. Robotnik, and you got to hit his little machine. Anyway, so
which was neat for the time,
So the first boss fight is always just either a machine or something stupid on the levels. Then the second one's always against Robotnik and one of his creations. And then obviously there's a final fight with Robotnik at the end of the game. So what do you think of the music and the sound effects?
On the whole, I like them. But they were very repetitive after a while, because they're very reminiscent of 1 and 2, even when they're not quite the same music. But the sound effects are just one for one. And honestly, I spent, because I'm bad at Sonic apparently, I spent a ton of time in every level that I played.
Yep.
So by the end, I was so tired of it. The music's not bad. It was just boring a direct line into my brain at a certain point, and I put it on mute so that I could continue to play.
I don't remember when I last played Sonic 2, but the chemical plant theme, which is the second major zone in Sonic 2, gets stuck in my head every time I start talking about Sonic. So this whole conversation we've been having is going, ba, ba, na, ba, da, ba, da, 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 just constantly playing in my head while we talk about Sonic. It's very, very repetitive.
You know what we didn't talk about in gameplay, just to go back for a quick second, is how you get Chaos Emeralds. Did we cover that?
No, we didn't. I forgot to even put that in there.
Because that's important. That's very important. There are, hidden throughout the levels are secrets. Usually it's behind like invisible walls, or you have to knock down some object, or they're hidden. Are these big ass rings, and you can only go into each one of them once. So if you go in and you fuck up, you got to start over. So like if you die or something, the ring's not there anymore if you go in and fuck up. So if you want to collect them all, you basically, and there are more than you totally need, but you can only miss a few. You have to start the game all over. So you go in the ring, and there's this weird pseudo 3D world. You're on a big ball, basically, kind of like Mario Galaxy, like a tiny planet, but it's gridded, and there are blue and red balls, and you have to go through the blue balls. Yeah, you have to touch the blue balls.
Of course you do.
But don't touch the red balls.
Well, they were already exhausted.
So as you touch blue balls, they turn red, as they're wont to do. If you stroke a blue ball enough and it gets excited, it turns red. And so you have to go through all the blue balls on the map, and if you turn all of them blue without ever running into a red one, you get a Chaos Emerald. And if you get them all, you turn into Super Saiyan Sonic, and you get a special ending when you beat the game. And Super Saiyan Sonic moves faster, jumps faster, does basically just everything faster.
He can kind of fly too, right?
Yeah, he like glides. Like if you jump, he'll kind of continue forward, which I always just assumed was kind of because he had so much forward momentum. He just kind of kept going.
But yeah, these mini levels are really cool, actually.
And they're hard as dick.
Yeah, they are.
Fuck, they're so hard. I did not finish a single one of them. I went into 4, and I did not finish any of them.
You have to basically plan your whole way through it, because you can react, but your reaction time gets to the point where if you just miss by a fraction of a second, you've passed your turn, because you can only turn on the corners of the grid.
Yes, because it is broken into those grids. You can't cut through the grid. You can only move in straight lines. So you move forward, you turn right. And you can't ever double back on yourself, basically, because if you do, you'll hit one of the balls you've already cleared and screw yourself with a blue ball. And
then because of the limitations of the Genesis, there's no camera control, so the camera's always right behind you. So once you get far enough, or close enough to something that's off to either side, you can no longer see it when you have to actually make the turn. So you got to hope you made the turn at the right time. Otherwise, you got to correct and make jumps over stuff. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. There's also There's also gold balls that you can run into that make you jump really high and far over a bunch of shit.
Yep. And there's secrets, like if a small, let's say you run into 8 blue balls in a square, you can just grid the outside of them, and if you grid off any way in, they'll turn to coins that you can collect.
That's why that happened.
Yep. You gotta grid them in. They were really hard. The camera limitations made maneuvering a 3D gridded world very difficult.
But it was cool to see the Genesis do that, because nothing else on the Genesis really did a 3D anything.
Yeah, it was neat, and it was new, and once you kind of you'd have to play them a few times, but once you kind of got the downside is you only got one to try at each of them in a playthrough, because once you knocked it until you started the game over, you couldn't go back in. So even if you failed, which kind of sucked. But, here we are.
Sorry about that. I just got hooked in the leg by my fucking cat. Thank you, dog, for scaring the cat and making him come up in my lap with his fucking claws out. Like an echidna.
I was wondering where the story was going, because you said, you were talking about your cat and said, thank you, dog.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute.
And then he pulled his fucking claws out and climbed up my leg like a fucking echidna with brass knuckles. See, I can transition. I'm a podcast host. So how did the game hold up to you? Did you like it? Did it meet expectations?
Yeah, when we were talking about this and making the show notes, I was, for some reason, hooked on breakfast cereal, and I think I was eating peanut butter M&Ms.
Okay.
And because of that, I wrote, they're great, in the Tony the Tiger voice.
I was wondering where the fuck that
notes.
came from when you wrote that in.
So it says, they're great! I think because I was addicted to peanut butter flavored cereal. So here we are. I really liked it. I thought it held up very well. My reflexes, however, did not, and I'm bad at this game. Bad.
I think part of it is just that we don't play the game for endless hours because it's the only one we own anymore. Now, I don't know how many hours I've logged into Sonic 2, but it's probably way more than I've put into Shovel Knight.
Yeah, the trick is with Sonic, you're moving so fast usually that a lot of it's like to get the best scores and stuff, the best rings, counts, and everything. You kind of have to memorize the level in a way you don't have to do on like Mario. Like you can memorize a level in Mario or even Mega Man, but Sonic, you're reacting almost preternaturally. Like you're moving, you have to be prepared before it's on screen. For everything. And, there's certain parts of Mega Man where that's very true, and you have to know what's coming, but not every second of it. And with Sonic, you really do. Until you slow down with Knuckles and kind of plod through the level, and then it doesn't really matter.
For me...
He also does run like Sonic. Like, he doesn't
run as fast, but he does run.
No, not as fast. But he does move. Well, he's not just crawling. But every time you try and climb a ledge, it's like, Jesus Christ, is this coated in molasses?
That in the Mushroom World, those things you had to hang from and pull down so the whole machine went up. Those things took forever too.
Yeah.
But anyway, for me, I thought the game was great too. It made me realize that my Sonic skills have been completely lacking.
Yeah.
But that's not really my fault because they don't make decent Sonic games anymore. And when was the last time we had a good one? Sonic and Knuckles? Was 3D Blast any good? Oh,
maybe,
there was Sonic CD. I don't know which one came out last.
They released that Sonic All-Stars on PS3, but it was just all the great Sonic games, so I don't know if that counts.
They did re-release Sonic CD and a couple Sonic 4 episodes 1 and 2 on Android. I got those, but I never got around to playing them yet.
I imagine Sonic would be very hard to play on a touchscreen.
Right? That's why I haven't gotten around to it. I have to hook up my Wiimote to my tablet and connect that to my TV. It's a big pain in the ass. Anyway, overall playing experience.
Yeah, this game's a lot of fun. Again, my reflexes are slowing down in my old age, but I still had a lot of fun. And given enough time, I would have completed it all. I did not get to the end. I ran out of patience with my slow reflexes. Also, it turns out the Genesis controller kind of sucks. Like, I was emulating the controller, and I have an Xbox controller I was emulating onto, and there's not enough buttons. The Sega thing had like 6 damn face buttons, plus start select, plus a shoulder button.
It didn't have shoulders.
It had the special one did. This one, I don't think this one did, but you don't remember the Sega
the special
that had the shoulder buttons? It was a fighting
pad.
pad.
No, the special. I have the 3 buttons here, which is the one I always played with. I had never moved on to the 6 button, and I didn't know there was anything beyond the 6 button, which was actually 7 because of the start. But
yeah, I actually had a lot of trouble because I was playing on that Xbox controller, and even 20 years later, my reflexes were still trying to play a Sega Genesis controller. So I was trying to slide directly to the right of the button from jump to the other buttons, and it doesn't work because obviously it's a diamond pattern, and I had certain buttons on the shoulders that were originally face buttons, and none of it really works very well. I mean, luckily you only really need the jump button for 90% of the game. You hold down and jump, makes you go fast, and then you hold the jump button. So, you get by, but there are occasionally other buttons, like to climb walls.
I did, because of this game, I realized how shitty the used 360 controller connected to my main cabinet is. So this week I get to get a new one when I go into work for Kohl's, because I have Kohl's cash to spend, and I can get a new Xbox One controller for my main PC, and then go ahead and move my Afterglow from my main PC onto my main cabinet. Yeah.
Garbage can to your garbage can, because Afterglow is garbage.
I love this fucking thing. This thing works great. It's right here. It's fucking see-through, which is my favorite part about it. It has fucking lights. Your shit doesn't do that. Yours do that?
I hawked these for a living. Those things break constantly. They are garbage.
This one has been way better than the actual 360 controller that I have. And I got it used, besides.
No way.
It has one small
This is,
problem.
this
The
is
right
what I-
shoulder is a little indented compared to the left, but it still presses just fine.
That's kind of a big problem. I don't want mine to light up, but my buttons light up. Huh? Huh?
Mine doesn't
They
have to light
Look
up,
at that. I don't need
or
the
I
whole
can
thing
set
to
it to
light up.
only light up on Rumble.
This is the Razer Onza Tournament Edition. This bad boy is fucking sweet. It's got 6 shoulder buttons. 6.
6 shoulder buttons? What are you going to do with 6 shoulder buttons? You have 2 fingers.
It replaces the... well, it's got 4 shoulder buttons and 2 triggers, like I say. It replaces the shitty D-pad, which is the worst part of the Xbox controller, with a nice 4-piece, kind of individual button one. The sticks actually twist for torque. You can actually turn the torque up and down on the sticks, like how stiff you want them to be.
That I do like.
Which is fucking sweet. This thing is awesome. And then on the back, there's actually these little buttons, and you can remap what the buttons do hardwired. There's a remapping feature, and you don't have to do it in the software. This controller is fucking sweet, and I use it all the time.
And notice you keep it on the ground so it can't fall off your desk.
I do. Actually, there's a little you can't see it. There's a little cubby hole down there under my computer. I have my computer sitting on a shoe rack, like a wooden, like 2-tiered shoe rack. It sits on top. And then my headphones and my controllers. I have 2 controllers. One for the Xbox One that sits here, and one for my computer, and they both go on the second shelf.
This is what I've been using most recently for our next game, but we'll get to that. My nice Extreme 3D Pro from Logitech. Extreme 3D Pro.
So what did you give the game? You liked
I
it?
did like it. I gave it a 7.
Score.
I think I gave Mega Man an 8, which probably was more deserving of a 9 or a 10. But I didn't want to give this the same value as that, so I gave it a 7. It's a good platformer. It has some rough parts with Knuckles being a little slow.
Yeah. I did give this an 8, and for different reasons than Mega Man. I think Mega Man's a tighter experience for sure. But this was trying new things. It had the 3D stuff that really hadn't been done before on the Sega Genesis. It had the lock-on technology, which lets you break the card open and plug it in and play Knuckles on other stuff, which is essentially just Game Genie in your game. But was still neat. Like, it was super cool.
It lets you do the Genesis Tower of Power, too. Have you ever seen that?
Where you plug in
you start with the Sega CD, you put the Genesis in that, then you got your 3D, your 32X, then the Sonic and Knuckles, then a Game Genie, and then whatever you're playing.
The 32X, I never owned, but I wanted one for the Star Wars game that released for it. We're gonna have to review that game someday. I'm not sure how I'm gonna play it.
I've been looking for a 32X for a couple years and haven't seen one in town. Because I want it for both the Star Wars Arcade and Virtua Fighter. Oh, and Doom. I think Doom was on that too.
Oh, that's right. Oh, good God. Maybe one day we can play the N64 version of StarCraft.
I beat Star Wars Arcade in the arcade. It cost me less than $2 to do that. I did really well.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, I have to take a tangent real quick. I went to Dave & Buster's recently for a friend's birthday. We went and hung out and had a few beers, played games, and they got in the new Star Wars battle pod, and it's like this big circular thing you climb in, right? And you sit down in this sweet ass chair, and it's essentially a remake of that Star Wars game you're talking about from the '90s.
Yeah.
The levels are a little different, but the graphics are updated, and the levels are a little different. You play the same shit. You play Battle of Yavin / Death Star 1, you do Hoth, you do the second run on the Death Star, and then there's like a random fleet fight that you can do. But it was a lot of fun. It did cost like $5 though.
There was Sega did a Star Wars, I'm going to keep with this train of thought because I want to. Star Wars game that was a 2-person X-Wing piloting game. It's very rare.
There's something in front of the Skype window that you're broadcasting for me.
That's got to go away. It's my wife is messaging me. She's on a business trip.
It's tiny. I can only see the top of it and like the one text. I can't see what it says though. I was leaning forward trying to see what sexy now.
That's because I chose window capture and then trimmed it down to be just your Skype picture. And anything that comes in front of it, like my mouse or if I drag a window, that all gets in front of it too. It's great. But Sega made this two-seater X-Wing fighter game where you had a pilot and a gunner. And it was just awesome. And I really wish I could find that to play. You know, of the full-size fucking cabinet because it had a projection television on it. It was fucking huge. I wanted it. It
Awesome.
wasn't a great game, but it was a cool experience.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I would get all over that. That reminds me a little bit of there was a game where you sat in like an AA turret, and it actually shifted a little when you played, and the game was broadcast on the top of the dome you were sitting in.
Oh, that's cool.
That was pretty neat.
Okay, so we're going to talk about how you can emulate this on PC. Well, first of all, you should buy the Steam version, because that's the most readily available.
And it's
Sonic
like
3
$4.
and Knuckles. Yeah, it's always on sale. It's cheap as hell. Once you do that, if you want to experience it the way it was released, you can go to someplace like theoldcomputer.com, and you can download all the different Sonic and Knuckles ROMs. And they have them set up where it's just Sonic and Knuckles, and Knuckles connected to Sonic 1, connected to Sonic 2, and connected to Sonic 3. And I was actually able to do the Sonic 1 here on hardware, and all you get is the special bonus levels that we were talking about. When you plug it in, it's just a screen with Robotnik, Sonic, Knuckles, and I think Tails?
Yep.
It might have been Tails. And it just says, no way, no way, no way, no way, no, and it just keeps scrolling until you hold down A, B, and C on the controller. And then you can play through the bonus levels. I didn't bother to load up the one with 2, but I know with 3 you can play with Knuckles through the game. So.
Yeah, and like I said, when you plug it into 3, you get actually extra levels, and the story changes of hair and stuff. You get it was the way the game was quote unquote meant to be played.
So yeah, if you want to do that, go out, buy the game first, either from a retro game store, eBay, Craigslist, whatever. Then download the ROMs. Don't get us in trouble, and then play. Oh, and speaking of, if you're a retro gamer and you don't have a subscription to the old computer, it's $10 for one-time fee forever to get access to their entire library of shit, which I've never not been able to find a game there. So yeah, I'll plug them because they're awesome. And they're also, they innovate slowly, but they are innovating to the point where you're going to be able to select multiple games to download at once in a package versus click on this game, click on the next link that says this is the download link. Go back, pick the next game.
All right, so I've heard the old computer. I've heard you mention. I've never actually been to the site, so I decided while you were talking I was going to type it in. And I'm sitting here staring at the homepage, and it's very minimal. But on the right it says popular ROMs, and of course they're in order alphabetically. So the bottom one is Sega, but the very first one is adult erotic.
Of course it is.
Porn.
Oh, good times. I think the video locked up on the stream. Did it for you?
Yep, looks like it did. But that's okay,
Yeah.
We're at the end!
We are at the end. We just got a little bit more to go. Listener shit. I was a guest on a recent episode of Couch Podtatoes, and we talked about toxic gaming communities, specifically based around Smite and League of Legends. We also mentioned some of the other gaming communities. The two hosts on that show, Jewel and Islaine, have been in along with myself. And you should check them out. They're on the TGE network, the Gaming and Entertainment Network, at tgenetwork.com.
Jesus, yeah. I don't know about Smite, but League of Legends and Dota have the just worst humans. Worst.
I was playing... Why I don't play Smite anymore, you'll notice it wasn't one of the games I talked about. I was in a game. I was playing as Zeus for only my second time. There was another guy there playing as Hades. We were playing in assault mode, which is it's a one lane, no jungle, 5-on-5, random gods, random people on your team. And the Hades ultimate ability collects everybody in a circle, and then if you get that, and it holds them there for a few seconds unless they use something to break it, and then everyone on your team can just pile on. It's the best ability we had available to us. The guy never pressed it once. At the 8.5 minute mark, we were losing like 25 to 3 or 4, maybe 8. It was single digits. And at the 10 minute mark, we can surrender. So the guy's like, hey, just surrender when it comes up. 3 of us voted to surrender, 2 didn't, so we had to keep playing. At this point, I was like, well, I just want to be out of here and play a new game, so I just started feeding them. I just started going up by myself, dying to like 4 guys, getting reset and doing it again. Second surrender vote we can do comes up, we still don't end the game. So I just keep going, and then he starts telling me I suck, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm just feeding so we can get out of this fucking game. And he started berating me and saying he was going to report me, all bunch of bullshit. I'm like, I'm doing exactly what you want, and you're going to treat me like this? Fuck you. So I was going to pay $30 for to unlock all the gods 3 days after that, and that guy cost the devs $30. Fuck him.
Yeah, I don't even dislike MOBAs that much, but I dislike the player community so much I just refuse to play.
The worst part is there's no competitive group for that particular mode, which I would like, but I don't like the other modes. So I was going to pay the $30 to play that mode with all the gods in a non-competitive fashion. They don't even have a ladder system for it, and all that's gone. Anyway, let's talk about our next game. What are we going to be playing?
You have written in the notes X-Wing. I see that you forgot to put versus TIE Fighter, though.
Oh, is that the one you got?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I own that. I own all of them. But
I haven't bought the other ones yet, because X-Wing was on sale. I think Alliance is my favorite, X-Wing Alliance, but I like all of them. I remember I had X-Wing as a kid, but I've been playing it, and I don't remember shit about it, except for some of the controls, just because they translated into the other versions. But that's what I was commenting about this before, which isn't going to be in the video anymore, but my joystick is all connected and ready to go.
I swear to God, I'm going to write a driver for my Sidewinder Pro so that I can have force feedback. Because no one likes force feedback anymore, but I love it.
I don't know if X-Wing has force feedback. I know X-Wing versus TIE Fighter does, but I don't know if X-Wing does.
It might not. It might not, but I want it for later.
So yeah, we're going to talk about X-Wing and its cool user interface that it has for getting through menus and shit and getting into missions. And have you played it at all?
I haven't started, no.
Just wait till you see how the graphics have held up. So yeah, we're going to talk about that next show. Hopefully within 2 weeks, probably longer. It's usually longer. I know I got a few papers to write in the next few weeks, so it'll probably be longer.
That's fine. I've got plenty to do work-wise, so whenever we're ready, we'll do it.
So remember, you can check us out on opnoobs.com, where you can find lots of cool stuff, including a whole bunch of news articles they're constantly putting out. You can sign up to be a streamer or a news writer if you want, or be like us and be a podcaster and not participate any other way because we're busy and haven't had time to really get in with them. But you can also check us out at returntotheretro.com. Also my blog, randark.returntotheretro.com, that Ervik still has not read.
You don't know that?
I know that, because you would have commented and said something. Hey, I read your blog. I'm no longer a douche.
Who's the real douche here? You're trying to make me read a blog.
You can check us out on Twitter at Return Retro and on a Nook, which is a cool gaming community website. It's very well moderated. You won't have the issues I had in Smite. And just search the Nooks for Return of the Retro. You got anything to say before I take us out?
Diggity dig dig wazzle.
Whee! Okay. On that note, we want to thank Timber for our theme song from freesound.org.